You've been lied to about your own hormones, not maliciously, not on purpose, but the lie is costing you your energy, your clarity, your body, and quietly, your sense of self. And the most frustrating part, the answer was there in your blood work the whole time. It was just never explained to you. Right now, in 2026, there's a category of women I see week after week in my practice. They are smart, they are determined, they're doing everything right, clean diet, movement, sleep hygiene, and they still wake up feeling like they're running a machine that's missing a battery, brain fog that rolls in before 10 a.m., muscle that won't come back no matter how hard they train, a flatness where their drive used to live. And almost every single one of them has been told the same thing by their doctor. Your labs look normal. Exactly. Now, let me tell you what testosterone is actually doing in your body, because this is where the story gets important. Testosterone is your metabolic command center. It determines how efficiently your muscles convert fuel to movement. It governs how sharply your brain encodes and retrieves memories. It regulates bone mineral density, which enters its steepest decline in your mid-40s, typically without a single symptom until it's already well advanced. It modulates your cardiovascular resilience, your immune response, your mood baseline, and your capacity to generate the kind of focused, motivated energy that makes you feel like you. When testosterone is thriving, you are thriving. When it's quietly declining, everything that matters to you starts to quietly follow. Right now, in 2026, researchers and clinicians are flagging something they're calling the brain fog epidemic among women between 45 and 55. We are seeing it at unprecedented levels. Brilliant, driven, capable women walking into appointments unable to find words mid-sentence, unable to hold a thought, describing themselves as feeling like a stranger inside their own mind. And they've been checked. Their panels came back within range. Their doctors said they're fine. They are not fine, and they know it. And somewhere you might know it too. The muscle erosion story is equally urgent. From age 40, without deliberate intervention, women lose 3 to 8% of lean muscle mass every single decade. And here's what the textbooks leave out. Muscle is your primary glucose disposal system. Lose muscle, your insulin sensitivity drops, your metabolic rate drops, your risk for type 2 diabetes climbs, your risk for cognitive decline climbs. This is not a fitness conversation. This is a longevity conversation. And underneath both of these, the fog and the muscle loss, is one signal that has gone quiet, one biological wave that has flattened. This is not a male hormone story anymore. This is your story. And now I want to tell you why your doctor's tests are probably missing it entirely. Between the ages of 20 and 45, the average woman's androgen production drops by 50%. 50%! And the sharpest part of that cliff doesn't begin at menopause. It begins in your mid-30s. By the time most women sitting here today hit 40, they were already operating at half the hormonal output of their peak years. Half. And most of them had no idea because the symptoms came gradually. The fog, the fatigue, the weight that won't move, the flat mood. You adapted. You told yourself it was stress, age, life. Now here is where I want you to feel something. Not despair, but a productive kind of frustration, because what I'm about to tell you is not a failure of your body. It is a failure of a system that was not designed to look for this in women. If you have ever walked into a doctor's office and said, "I think something is wrong with my hormones," here is likely what happened. You were either told that testosterone is not relevant to women, or you received a standard total testosterone test. Your number came back inside the reference range. Your doctor said everything looks fine. You left the office feeling like maybe you were imagining it. You were not imagining it. Total testosterone tells you almost nothing on its own. What matters, what is actually driving how you feel, is free testosterone, the fraction that isn't bound up by sex hormone binding globulin, SHBG. The fraction that is bioavailable, crossing into your cells, activating your receptors, doing the actual work.
In 2026, functional medicine labs are now routinely measuring SHBG alongside free androgen index scores, and the pattern we are seeing is consistent and striking. Women who present with profound fatigue, cognitive decline, and muscle resistance will often show normal total testosterone, but dramatically elevated SHBG. The hormone is present, the body simply cannot access it. Think of it this way. Imagine you have a full tank of fuel, but the fuel line is pinched. Your engine doesn't know the tank is full, it just knows it's starving. That is what is happening in the cells of millions of women over 40 right now. This is not a deficiency of production. In many cases, it is a problem of access, and that changes everything about the solution. Now, there is a place for medical intervention in some cases, and I will never dismiss that, but the 2026 data on natural receptor sensitivity is opening a door that many practitioners haven't walked through yet. Before reaching for exogenous hormone replacement, there is a meaningful window, particularly in perimenopause, where you can dramatically improve how your cells hear the hormonal signal they're already receiving. That window is what the rest of today is about, and it is wider than you might think.
I want to tell you about something I resisted for longer than I should have, because I am a clinician. I am evidence-driven. And when I first encountered the research on what is now being called endocrine-targeted auditory stimulation, my instinct was skepticism. Sound affecting hormones. That sounds like something you find on a wellness blog, not a peer-reviewed journal. Then I read the data, and I changed my mind. Here is the science explained as cleanly as I can. Your hypothalamus, a small, extraordinarily powerful structure at the base of your brain, is a frequency-sensitive command center. It does not operate in isolation. It responds to sensory input, visual input, tactile input, and yes, auditory input. The hypothalamus coordinates the entire HPG axis, the hypothalamic pituitary gonadal pathway, which is the biological chain of command for sex hormone production in your body. That pathway is profoundly sensitive to one variable above all others: perceived safety. When your nervous system perceives chronic threat, which if you are living with a high-demand schedule, fragmented sleep, and unresolved physiological stress, it almost certainly does, your body runs a ruthless triage protocol. Cortisol is elevated to manage the perceived threat, and in that state, testosterone production is suppressed. Not incidentally, deliberately. Your body is making a choice: survival resources over reproductive and vitality resources. Every time, automatically, without asking your permission. Cortisol is the bouncer at the testosterone door. While cortisol is elevated, testosterone does not get in. What the auditory research is now showing us is this: sustained exposure to binaural tones in the delta alpha entrainment range, frequencies designed to guide brainwave activity towards 0.5 to 10 hertz, facilitates a measurable shift from sympathetic nervous system dominance into parasympathetic regulation. Fight or flight becomes rest and restore. And in that shift, cortisol drops. And when cortisol drops, the adrenal pathway, which becomes the primary androgen production site after menopause, begins to function with significantly more freedom. The mechanism is not mysticism, it is neurophysiology meeting endocrinology at a precise and elegant intersection. Now, if you are thinking, can I just lie in headphones and solve this? The answer is no, and I want to be unambiguous about that, because this channel is built on truth, not on selling you a shortcut. Auditory stimulation is one pillar, a powerful one, but it requires the other pillars to produce the transformation I'm describing. And I'm going to build those for you right now, because here is what nobody in the wellness space is combining: frequency work, targeted nutrition, circadian anchoring, and resistance movement as one integrated biological protocol, not as separate wellness habits, as a system. And when these elements work together, the compound effect is where real, measurable change lives. Your body is a pharmaceutical lab that runs 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and it manufactures exactly what you need if you give it the correct raw materials and the right environmental signals. Let me walk you through the 3 nutritional pillars I consider non-negotiable for women over 40 who want to restore androgen access naturally. The first is boron. This trace mineral is the most underrated intervention in women's hormonal health, and almost no mainstream practitioner is talking about it. 3 to 10 milligrams of boron daily has been shown in multiple studies to reduce SHBG, the binding protein locking up your free testosterone, while simultaneously increasing free testosterone levels and improving estradiol metabolism. You can access therapeutic amounts through avocados, prunes, raisins, and almonds, though for clinical effect, a quality boron supplement ensures consistency. This is the key that unlocks what your body has already been producing. The second is zinc. Zinc acts as a cofactor for the enzyme system that converts androgen precursors into active, usable testosterone. Without adequate zinc, this conversion slows dramatically, regardless of every other intervention you're running. Standard metabolic panels don't screen for zinc status, and depletion is common among women over 40 due to absorption changes. Pumpkin seeds, oysters, and grass-fed beef are strong dietary sources. If supplementing, zinc picolinate delivers superior bioavailability. The third is magnesium glycinate. This form of magnesium crosses the blood-brain barrier efficiently and acts as a natural NMDA receptor modulator, which means it helps quiet the neurological overactivation that keeps your stress response chronically elevated. Calm nervous system, lower cortisol, higher testosterone production. The chain is that direct and that immediate. Now, let me shift to what I consider the most overlooked lever in women's hormonal optimization, the light sleep clock system. Your circadian rhythm is not a sleep preference. It is a hormonal program. The first 30 minutes after you wake, the quality and wavelength of light your eyes receive sets what's called the cortisol awakening response, a hormonal signal that cascades through your entire endocrine system for the rest of the day. When you anchor this correctly, natural light or full spectrum light therapy within 30 minutes of waking, you are giving your hypothalamus the signal it needs to regulate testosterone production appropriately. When you wake and immediately immerse your retinas in phone screen light at the wrong wavelength and the wrong timing, you scramble that signal before the day has even begun. And the sleep piece is where the most significant missed opportunity lives for most women. Your body's largest natural testosterone production pulse happens during deep sleep, NREM stages 3 and 4, when growth hormone is simultaneously released. Miss those stages, which is exactly what happens when you go to bed with elevated cortisol and dysregulated circadian signaling, you are sleeping through your own hormonal manufacturing window. Every single night. This is not a minor detail. This is where years of quiet decline have been silently accumulating for many of you watching right now. The protocol is a system. Morning light anchors the clock. Boron, zinc, and magnesium fuel the biochemistry. Frequency practice in the afternoon shifts your nervous system state. And deep sleep does the manufacturing that no supplement can replicate. Your internal pharmacy is fully stocked. We are going to open it back up. Let me give you a daily structure you can begin implementing this week, not someday, this week. In the morning, within the first 30 minutes of waking, get outside or sit in front of a bright window, no sunglasses, for a minimum of 10 minutes. Allow natural light to reach your photoreceptors. This is the master switch for your circadian hormonal program. If you can tolerate it, finish with 30 seconds of cold water on your face. This activates the mammalian dive reflex, producing a short cortisol spike, followed by a sharp cortisol drop, which over time trains your stress response to be both steeper and shorter. Resilience, not avoidance.
Follow with a protein-forward breakfast, at least 30 grams. Protein provides the amino acid precursors for dopaminergic neurotransmitter synthesis, and dopamine signaling is directly coupled to testosterone pathway activation. This is not about macros. This is about brain chemistry. At midday, 20 to 30 minutes of strength-based compound movement. I want to be precise here because the type of exercise matters enormously. Chronic, high-intensity, steady-state cardio elevates cortisol. It is not your ally in this protocol. What produces the anabolic signal we need is resistance-based, multi-joint movement, squats, deadlifts, rows, overhead presses, with moderate load and 90-second to 2-minute rest intervals.
Even 2 sessions per week of this stimulus produces measurable increases in androgen receptor density within 6 to 8 weeks. You are not just burning fuel, you are sending a message to your biology that testosterone is needed and will be used. In the afternoon, the natural cortisol dip between 2 and 4 p.m. is your ideal frequency practice window. 20 to 30 minutes, lie down, headphones on, eyes closed. Allow your parasympathetic nervous system to take the lead. This is your cortisol discharge window, your adrenal pathway activation window, and your recovery investment for the following morning. In the evening, beginning at 8 p.m., dim your lights. Eliminate blue spectrum light from screens by 9. Take magnesium glycinate 60 minutes before bed. Set your room temperature between 65 and 68 degrees Fahrenheit, the optimal thermal range for deep sleep stage entry. This is your manufacturing window. Protect it. Now, the 3 biomarkers I want every woman over 40 to track in 2026. The first is your free testosterone and SHBG ratio, not total testosterone alone. Request a free androgen ID alongside your standard panel from any functional medicine practitioner. This is the number that actually tells you what your cells are receiving. The second is HSCRP, high-sensitivity C-reactive protein. Inflammation is the silent antagonist of hormonal health. Chronically elevated HSCRP is one of the fastest feedback signals for whether your lifestyle inputs are working. The functional target is below 1 milligram per liter. The third is fasting insulin. Insulin resistance is closely coupled with androgen dysregulation and is dramatically underdiagnosed in women over 40. Functional target below 5 microunits. If it's above that, it becomes the first domino to address before anything else. Track these 3 numbers every 3 to 6 months. Watch them move as you implement this protocol. This is how you own your biology, not by hoping, but by measuring. I want to leave you with something that goes beyond the protocol. There is a moment that many of you have already lived. It's the moment when exhaustion stops feeling like a symptom and starts feeling like a personality. When "this is just how I feel now" becomes the story you tell yourself because it's easier than being angry about it. When you quietly let go of the version of yourself who had fire, who had energy at 9 p.m., who could think clearly in a meeting, who actually looked forward to the day. I want you to know something with complete clinical certainty, that version of you is not gone. She's waiting on the other side of a biology that is asking to be heard. The decline you've experienced is not your character, it is information. It is a series of measurable, addressable biological signals that, when responded to correctly, produce a reversal that many of my patients describe not as improvement, but as return, as coming back to themselves. That is the mission of VitaWave, not to help you manage decline, to help you reverse it. So here's what I need from you right now. 3 things. First, if even one thing in today's conversation landed for you, share this with one woman in your life who's living in that quiet exhaustion right now. She may not even know what to search for. You do. Send it to her. Second, subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. Every single week, we go deeper into the science of biological optimization for women who refuse to accept fine as the ceiling. Third, go to the comments right now and tell me what is the one action you are committing to implementing this week. Not someday, this week. State it publicly. Let this community hold you to it. That is how change actually happens. Health is not a destination, it is a rhythm you learn to ride, and your wave, it is still rising. See you in the next one.